Tonight, what's the cost of offending Donald Trump? Just days after the German chancellor criticized the president and his strategy in Iran, saying that the U.S. was getting humiliated, the Pentagon is now removing 5,000 U.S. troops from Germany. In a social media post prior to the move, Trump complained his German counterpart, quote, doesn't know what he's talking about, and he criticized the German economy. The Pentagon says that the troop withdrawal will take 6 to 12 months, but on the outside, the move is largely viewed as a symbolic one. Even if 5,000 troops are removed from Germany, it would still host the second largest U.S. troop presence in the world, behind only Japan. It is very like Trump that this is happening largely because he felt insulted by the Germans. And it kind of speaks to just how he operates. It's sort of like a tit for tat.
Yeah, if you've ever wondered whether some political TV debates are more about performance than conviction, this clip might answer that question. What you're about to watch is a moment where two Republican voices try to defend Donald Trump, but the more they argue, the more they end up contradicting themselves. And when Isaiah Martin starts asking the obvious questions, the entire conversation takes a turn they clearly weren't expecting. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Also, make sure you watch all the way to the end, because I'll break down exactly why this exchange matters and what so many people missed. Now let's watch the full clip.
Tit for tat.
Yeah, I think it does speak to how he operates. I mean, this is someone with very thin skin. Even if it is symbolic, I mean, 5,000 troops, I think, is still significant. But I think the larger message that this sends is not to Germany. It's actually to Vladimir Putin. It is, we are going to pull down our troops. We are going to lessen our presence. Even though we still have a large presence in Germany, we're going to respond. And that sends a message to Putin that we have been pretty much under this administration not serious about arming Ukraine and supporting Ukraine. But I think that just gives Putin more carte blanche to continue this war of choice that is he continues to wage in Europe. And it leaves less protection for our allies in Europe. And I think what's the miscalculation here of this administration is we use our European allies and bases there to support operations in the Middle East and also in Africa. And we also use those bases to support our operations for our own defense. So this might be symbolic, but it does send a message to Putin, and it also sends a message to our allies overseas as well.
Yeah, you're right. We do. I've been to K-Town there, and we do Landstuhl Air Force. Landstuhl is the medical center that we utilize there. And I wish that this administration wouldn't sort of do these types of things when it comes to our strategic military interest in the region. I don't know what's behind this. I didn't read say that.
I agree.
There we go. Look, I think that when it comes to the military and it comes to our national defense, it's not political. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not right or left. I do think this is going to impact the German economy, right? 5,000 U.S. Army soldiers are the most, that's the service that's there. Spending money in that economy is going to have an impact. And maybe that's the message that the president is trying to send. I don't know that I agree 100% that that's the way we should conduct that in sending the message to the Germans, but I understand the intent behind it at least.
So, I mean, this is not, this is going to seem like a completely different topic, but the other moment that a lot of people accused the president of having thin skin about was how he reacted to Jimmy Kimmel's joke from last week. And here's Joe Rogan criticizing the president for just all that has transpired after that alleged joke.
Adam Carolla had a really good point. He said that joke on a Thursday. On Friday, nobody gave a because Kimmel. He said a joke about Melania. He made his own mock White House press correspondence dinner.
Right.
And he said Melania has the glow of a woman who's recently widowed.
Okay.
That's it.
It's an old guy joke, like he's going to die.
Yeah,
so.
It could be, or an assassination joke if you want to take it that way, but he is old.
Wait,
but then,
after the attempt?
No, before. So it's on Thursday, and this is Carolla's point. That's a really good point. He said no one gave a on Friday. Right. It came out on Thursday. No one cared on Friday. No one cared on Saturday until Saturday night when the assassination attempt, and then all of a sudden everyone's blaming Kimmel.
And now it's just been added to this like very tiresome, frankly, long-standing tit for tat between Trump and Kimmel, and it just he won't let it go. I mean, Kimmel doesn't like him, but Trump is the president, and he will not let this go.
Number one, the joke was in poor taste. Number two, it's a shame that Jimmy Kimmel
can't stand up and apologize for a joke that was in poor taste. And third, Adam Carolla makes a decent point that was referenced by Joe Rogan there, but no one cared on Thursday because the people who watch Jimmy Kimmel agree with his politics and they probably thought it was a hilarious joke. The people who would call him out for being distasteful don't actually watch his program. That's why no one said anything until after the fact.
You know, Pete, can you tell me one example of Trump ever apologizing for anything?
Can you tell me one example of Trump?
I don't know why
making a joke
that
about
is.
someone,
I mean,
like,
Jimmy
dying?
Kimmel made a
Are you serious? Robert Mueller? Robert Mueller? Are we going to act like that didn't happen on Twitter?
Can you give me an example of someone's spouse being told, you look
Nancy
like the
Pelosi's husband.
I mean,
Paul Pelosi.
the point is that
Hold on. Trump made jokes about Paul Pelosi, implying all kinds of crazy conspiracies about why he was attacked with a hammer. The president did that. That actually did happen. And I would also add, I mean, the president earlier this week made a joke to his wife that she's going to outlive him. In front of he made the joke in front of the king.
But there's a
every
big
wife makes that joke.
I think the joke was unkind and unfunny.
Yeah.
But why make a federal case out of it? This whole city lives in fear of Trump's petty angers. The entire Senate, the entire Congress does. Everyone in the administration. That's why they have to parrot his lies about the 2020 election or whatever he wants them to say. The entire city lives in fear of it because he makes a federal case out of everything.
And that's
exhausting.
And that's the point. I mean, it's like, again, you cannot show me an example of Trump ever apologizing for anything. So I just think it's rich when any conservative tries to go and say that someone should apologize for anything.
The
point is that the Republican Party ran on a platform. Peter speaking. The Republican Party ran on a platform of having free speech. That's what you guys campaigned on. You went to all the college campuses all around talking about you stood for for free speech. Now you have the President of the United States being so much of a snowflake that he cannot handle a joke he doesn't like from Jimmy Kimmel. That's ridiculous.
And Jimmy Kimmel can't be man enough to apologize.
Your president is not man enough because he's
that
never
Donald Trump is in the gutter, so you think you should just jump in it with him? Rise up to it. I know. You do use the whole you thing a lot. Like, let's be not personal and accusatory about everything.
Did you vote for him?
I didn't, actually. Would you like to know that?
Oh, that's
breaking news
to
on
me.
CNN. I've never voted for Donald Trump. How about that?
That's news to me. You got me there.
That's going to be a hot take.
Yeah, good. It'll make it on Mediaite or whatever.
You got me
He
there.
is your president, too.
That is
Just for the record.
He's the president.
And your president.
All right, guys. Next for us in corporate America, a new.
Now, here's what really stood out to me. The biggest problem wasn't just the argument itself. It was the standard being applied. Throughout that discussion, there was a lot of emphasis on what Jimmy Kimmel should or shouldn't apologize for. But that immediately raises another question. Should that same expectation apply to everyone, including the President of the United States? That's where the conversation started falling apart. The panel was demanding accountability from one person, while dismissing questions about whether the same standard should apply elsewhere. And once Isaiah Martin pointed that out, the entire dynamic shifted. Instead of putting the rest of the panel on the defensive, they ended up defending a position that many viewers are likely to see as inconsistent. For me, that's why this exchange is so revealing. It wasn't just about one joke or one TV segment. It became a debate about consistency. If accountability matters, then it should matter regardless of who is involved. That's the question this panel never really answered. But that's just my take. I want to hear yours. Do you think Isaiah Martin won this debate? Or do you think the Republican panelists made a stronger case? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next political analysis, and I'll see you in the next one.